Do you need to change your strings? That's what we're going to learn how to do. We will be changing the strings on my Fender Stratocaster. So the basic process, what you need first, probably got some old strings on your guitar. So we're going to loosen them up first up here, so that when I snip them, they don't fly back at me. Don't cut strings that are at tension. Okay, we'll loosen them all the way first. You can do that with just your fingers, or if you want to save a little bit of time, get actually a string winder. It's a little plastic piece that fits over your tuner, and it just makes it easier to spin it around quicker. In my opinion, it doesn't save a whole lot of time, but if you're doing like multiple guitars or something, it might be worth it. Then I'm snipping them with just something, find a set of pliers or something with a cutting edge. These have that little edge right there, if you can see that. That's enough to cut guitar strings. And you also don't need that, but it does make it a lot easier, I think. And then you need your new strings. And I have a screwdriver here in order to take the back plate of the guitar off. Okay, so first I'll loosen the strings, then I'll cut them, pull them through the back, and then I'll slide the new strings on, push them up through the back, and there's a little ball you'll see on each string that catches underneath the bridge, and you pull it over, tie it in just like a basic like the first half of a shoestring knot, like the first move you make to tie your shoelace. That's all you got to do, and then you wind it and it kind of wraps itself around, but I'll show a closer view of that when we get there. Anyway, let's get the back plate off and get started. Alright, I got the 5 of the screws out, and I just slid it over like that because I don't want to lose this thing, so I just keep it on there. It's a little bit easier. Alright, now I'm going to loosen all the strings a little bit at a time. I don't want to have tension along the strings that's not proportionate between them too much, so just to be safe, I'll start with the thicker string. And just loosen each in turn with a few turns of the tuner. You know what, I should have done it the other way. Start with the lighter strings because they hold less tension, or they less pull on the fretboard, so it doesn't really matter a lot though. As you can see, if it really mattered, a string would have jumped up and bit me. So I'm basically bringing them down to a low enough tension where they don't make any more sound when they vibrate. I'm just taking all the tension out because I don't want them snapping back at me when I cut them. All right. Here we go. Now the fun part. See that? There we go. All right. Now, I don't want to lose these things until I throw them away because I don't want to step on them later. Okay, 6 strings cut. Now, let's carefully take the knot out of each of these. I don't know what the knot's called, but it looks like a pretzel. Just the first knot you probably think of when you need to tie a knot in something. As long as it holds the tension, and when you tune the tuner, it doesn't move the string around. Use whatever knot you want. There we go. Okay, I'll get the rest of these done and then pull these out through the back. Okay, that was a pain. Did it though. So now just gonna take all 6 strings, grab them, and kind of wiggle them through so they all come out at once. You see the ball at the end of the wire start poking out. You got all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Much easier. Okay, I'm gonna go toss these and I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Now we've got a guitar without strings and the back plate's still off. Grab your pack of new strings. And I'm not going to get into what strings you should buy or anything, maybe in a later video. I just say go with what's comfortable first. If you're just starting out, experiment with thicker gauge strings. See if you like that. I did for a long time, and I had the Billy Gibbons experience where he's like, you're working too hard if you're using really thick strings. But then people say do the whole Stevie Ray Vaughan thing. So I don't know. I think it's just up to you. Okay, and I'm gonna push these through, putting it through the back plate here, 1 string at a time. Pulling it through, making sure that ball at the end of the wire is all the way pressing against the metal way back there. Sometimes it can, if you're not looking at it when pulling it through, it'll get caught on just the edge of the hole. So make sure it's all the way through so that you don't, tune it up, tighten it, and then all of a sudden it snaps through. That's I've done that one before. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick this into the tuner. Pulling it through, making sure it lands in the nut, right in the groove on the nut there. Okay. I'm gonna hold that down. It's still got some room. Probably too much there. All right. And I'm just gonna tighten the tuner a little bit to hold it in place. So not enough tension to make a sound yet. All that is rattling against the guitar, but it's enough to hold it in place while I put the other ones in, which I'll do right now in fast motion. So I'm turning my tuners, what is that? Counterclockwise, just because I like the string to end up on the right side of the tuners. But it really doesn't matter. I'm sure there'll be things out there that say it matters and that it doesn't. I don't think it matters. I've done both ways, and this is just what's easier for me. And they both work. So tune your tuners whatever direction you want. But I would say tune them all the same direction. Once you start tuning that first one, whatever direction that's in, do the rest like that. Otherwise, the string will end up on opposite sides. See how these are both going this way around the tuner? I wouldn't want one going that way and then this one going that way. That gets really hard to tie the knots when you get to that point. Okay, so now we got 2 strings in. I'll just do the rest of these 4 quick. Okay, for this one, there's this little extra metal piece right here. I should have cleaned my guitar while I was unstrung there, but that's okay. Okay, so you're going to go under that little piece of metal. There should be a little groove meant for the string to go in. And it'll probably pop out while you're sticking the string in, but that's okay. Just keep tying down the parts, pressing them where they need to go as you move along. There we go, and counterclockwise. Until it's held in place. See, this one's a little bit too loose right now. It's going to get in the way, so I'm just going to tighten that a little more. Okay, ready for that last string. Same thing there, got that small 6 string underneath the metal piece, and that just helps things keep organized. And you can see all of them are strung up on this side of the tuners as far as where they twist at, where they turn over the actual tuning rod. You'd get into some trouble if you didn't do that. And see, this one popped out again, so I'm just going to fit it back under there. I'll tighten it a little bit first to make it easier. Okay, looks good. All right, so now we've got all 6 strings in place at least. They're all very loose, not making any sound yet. So loose that they popped out of place there. So now that they're all in there, I'm just going to tighten them all a little bit more, all counterclockwise, or whatever direction you chose. Just keep them all the same, just so they don't pop out of place while I'm doing this next part, which is stretching the strings. And what this does, it makes it less likely that they'll snap when I tune them all the way into place. And they'll keep their tuning better after when I'm actually wanting to play them. So I'm just bending the string using 3 fingers here and just getting a little bend in them. And that's the easy stretch. Then I'll stretch them a little bit more going this way. See, I'm just pulling it away from the fretboard in a few places. Just getting that a little bit stretched out. And you won't feel any difference because it isn't enough to like make the string longer or anything. They're not elastic. And that one's popping out of the nut. That's okay. Just put it right back in. Same with these other ones. Smaller strings are definitely harder to control, but it's okay. Once they all get tuned up, they'll stay in place. All right, now I feel better about tuning them more. Going probably about 3 times over, 3 full turns for each string. So I got them all tuned up enough to actually make a sound when they vibrate now. But it's definitely not in tune, doesn't sound anything like guitar tuning. Just like this demonic growl. Okay, that's tight enough. So you can see they look as tight as normal guitar strings, but the actual tone that they play isn't in that range yet. But they won't move now, so I can do this next part. I'm going to tie each of these into a knot and then trim them. You can keep, if you change your strings really often, you don't want to trim the top. Sometimes you'll see guitar players not trim the extra string. That's totally up to you. For me, it's I don't know, it just doesn't feel finished until I string, or until I cut the strings. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I used to not do it, but it's I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Just totally your choice again. But to tie these, this is what I'm doing here. I'm gonna do it with the E string first, fat E string. I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna make sure it goes over, or I just avoid that second string there. Okay, so I went under the string where it's entering the tuner, and just wrap it around and pull it tight so that you make that indent again, so it changes the actual shape of the string. If I were to let the string go like I just did, it holds its place. Then I'm going under again, pulling it through. Oops, see, I got that string caught in there. Get that out of the way. All right, now I've got a little loop, and I'm gonna just tie a little shoestring knot, little pretzel. I don't know the real name, but you can see it happening right in front of you there. Okay, pull that tight. Make sure the knot is under the string, the part of the string that's going to the nut. You don't want your knot to be on top of this, because that will actually bend your string, and you'll get that Jimmy Page wow, wow, wow thing. Or who else does that? Eddie Van Halen? Or he plucks he does that. All right. And I'm just pulling that tight, and that's totally fine. So now it's just a little, that knot is just a little anchor, even though it's a little loose, totally fine. I'll trim the string right about there. I'll just do that now. All right, and I like to trim them as I go so that they're out of the way of the other strings, and I don't accidentally tie a loose part of another string under the knot of another one. All right, and that's your basic tied string. It isn't tuned yet. That's the last step. But we've tied it down, stretched it. It's almost ready to go. So I'll get these other ones tied up and cut. All finished there. Looking good. New strings. Not sounding great yet. Gotta tune them up. So this is where you get your guitar tuner. I use an app on my phone called Guitar Tuna, which I'm using to film right now, so I can't use, but I'll tune these up a little bit. Just because there's a few other pointers here. Alright, now that they're probably, since I stretched them, they're like 8 turns or so each tighter. Since that point, I'm going to stretch them again. And like I said, I used to string about once a month, and then I got tired of it, and I hardly string at all. Probably went years without stringing. Then I realized, after having really dead strings, it sounds really good to have new strings. I actually like about a week in to having new strings because at first they sound really bright and metallic, and they sound very new. Clean tones are very nice with brand new strings, but I don't know. Supposedly Neil Young hardly ever changes strings. He likes that old kind of, I think it sounds like a deader sound, just kind of matted down. But again, it's totally personal preference. So that's the basic stringing. And next I would grab a tuner and tune those up one at a time. But get them all, you don't want to tune a single string all the way first. You want to get each string, you want to do them all gradually together at first. So get each one a little bit closer, maybe just like 3 steps. So I'll get these, tune these up a little bit, go to the next string, and I'm just turning these by half a turn now each, as I hear the pitch raise. Okay, lighter strings, maybe a full turn there. And I'll use a tuner, and I'll look at each, I'll look at the marker as the tuner tells me how far it is off the note. I'll bring them all under, like I'll bring them all a whole note under where they should be, so that it isn't disproportionate as far as like one string holding a lot of tension on the neck, because that can cause strings to snap, and then you got to restring it again. So yeah, that's what I would do. I use a Guitar Tuna, like the Fish Guitar Tuna. That's a nice app. I think it's still free. And again, just bring them all under the right pitch, like a whole note under. So like if you're tuning the E strings, only bring them up to A, and your guitar tuner should show you what the next key is, next step in the key. So bring the E's up to A, bring them all a whole step under the key you're trying to tune them to, and then do them one at a time to the correct pitch. Not essential, but it's just like it's easier on the strings, and the whole point there, a lot of the cautions that we went over today were just steps to take to not snap your strings as you're changing them. Okay, so I'll tune them up, and I will throw this back on, and there we go, get the screws in there, and I've got new strings on my guitar. So thanks for hanging around. I'm excited to try this thing out. And remember, after you throw new strings on, for the first few times you pick up your guitar again, it'll probably be way out of tune, and it's just the strings getting used to that new tension put on them. Still stretching out. So that initial stretch that we did, stretch the strings a couple times, will really help that not be as dramatic of an effect when you pick up your guitar and want to play, and all of a sudden it's out of tune. So just anticipate next couple times you pick up the guitar, it's going to be way out of tune after you throw fresh strings on there. Thanks for joining me. That's how you string your guitar. This is Guitar Aminal. I'm Jesse, and I'll see you in the next video.